Welcome back to the exercise application assignment. I'm your host, Graylin Moon. This is going to be episode 15. Still having trouble uploading these videos to YouTube, but you know, it is what it is. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what I did yesterday. Today is a rest day where I am resting and completing some much needed work for my other classes. But what I did yesterday, I trained legs. It was good. It was a good leg day. I started out, I did calf raises on the standing calf raise machine, and then I moved into leg press. Leg press was, no, I did standing calf raises, then I did seated hamstring curls, and then I did leg press, and then I did Smith machine squats with my heels elevated, and then I did one set of Smith machine sissy squats in the Zercher position, and then I was going to do the adductor machine like I usually do. To be honest, I was pretty whooped, and somebody was taking up the adductor machine, and they were taking quite a while, and so I usually don't do this, but I just said, you know, it's whatever. I just left. I mean, my legs are already pretty fried. They're definitely very sore today. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's review. Talk about the heart and what's going on. Obviously, my heart's pumping when I exercise. When I exercise, heart rate goes up. My cardiac output increases. So if cardiac output is increasing, my heart rate can only increase so much. So at a certain point, my stroke volume has to increase. How does my stroke volume increase? Well, let's talk about heart rate. My heart rate increases via the nerves. So when I'm at rest, my parasympathetic nervous system is going to be influencing my SA node through my vagus nerve. That's called my vagal tone. When I start exercising, that break that it has, what it's doing at rest is it's sending an IPSP to my heartbeat, because my heartbeat's kind of like creeping up, boop, creeping up, boop, creeping up, boop. It's going to hyperpolarize. So it's going to go boop, and then it's going to go whoosh, and it takes a little bit longer to recover, and then boop, whoosh, whoosh, a little bit longer to recover, and then boop. So it hyperpolarizes the SA node so that it takes a little bit longer for each heartbeat to happen. When my, what's it called? It's called what's the nerve? It's accelerator nerve. The accelerator nerve becomes a bit more active. It's kind of like letting off the brake and then pressing the gas pedal on my heart. What it does is it moves the heart closer to depolarization quicker. So instead of it being like boop, boop, it'll be like boop, 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 because it's making making it hit threshold faster. If you want to think about it like that. So that's what happens during exercise, especially when I'm doing leg press, for example. I have to really get amped up on leg press because it's very uncomfortable. I have to use straps on the handles so that my butt doesn't come up out of the seat, because I like to get a quite deep range of motion on the leg press, and sometimes it's almost like it's harder to hold myself in the seat than it is to push with my legs. So I've been using the straps on the leg press, and that's no longer a problem. So how does it accomplish that? Through epinephrine, norepinephrine binding to beta receptors, beta adrenergic receptors, and then that's going to speed up my heart rate, and we need that because cardiac output is going to mean we're going to get more nutrients to the muscle and take out more waste products in the form of like lactate and CO2. So stroke volume, that's going to be regulated by our, blood volume and vascular resistance or peripheral resistance. Right, so that sort of thing. So like the length of our veins isn't really going to change that much, nor is the amount going to change that much within a short period of time. So really the only way to manipulate our, dang, I'm yawning so much. Our peripheral resistance is like through the dilation of our blood vessels. If a blood vessel is more dilated, there's going to be less resistance. You're going to be able to have better blood flow, greater stroke volume. So you have to start talking about preload and afterload. If we have a bigger stretch, there's more blood entering my heart. You know, venous return, right? Am I correct in saying that? Yes. There's more venous return, which is also governed by sympathetic activity. So I'm getting amped up. I got that epinephrine going, have greater venous return during exercise. My end diastolic volume is going to go up, and then the Frank-Starling mechanism is going to have a bigger stretch of my ventricles, harder contraction, going to be better able to overcome the afterload or the pressure in the aorta. So I'm going to be able to get more oxygen and stuff to my muscles. Yeah, I think that's... Yeah, length and blood viscosity are pretty constant. Dilation is our control of resistance and allows us to divert blood flow to muscles from organs. So I don't need a lot of blood in my daggum stomach or intestines while I'm working out because I'm entering sympathetic mode. I'm not resting and digesting. I'm attacking the weights. So that diversion happens through dilating and constricting specific blood vessels. Anything else? We got we got the AVO difference. So that's why we need to know what cardiac output is. Greater AVO difference is indicative of greater offloading of O2 at the site of working muscles. So that's the volume of O2 is equivalent to your cardiac output multiplied by the oxygen in your arteries minus the volume of oxygen in your veins, which is, that's basically your cardiac output minus the O2 uptake in the capillaries, essentially. Which makes sense. Yeah, arteries have a high vascular resistance due to vasoconstriction by sympathetic nervous system. Capillary beds open up during exercise, greater nutrient delivery. Circulatory response to exercise. Emotional investment, stress and anxiety, ups your heart rate and your blood pressure. Rest, exercise transition, onset of exercise, your heart rate and your stroke volume go up, and so does your cardiac output. Steady state, kind of you get a plateau of that. If you have a steady work rate, your heart rate, stroke volume, and cardiac output kind of plateau. But there's something about cardiac drift, wasn't there? Prolonged exercise. You have exercise is prolonged, you're going to have cardiovascular drift due to rising temperature and plasma volume decrease due to sweat. Arm versus leg exercises. I was doing leg exercises, right? Oh, this is perfectly applicable. So at any given level of O2 consumption, heart rate and blood pressure are higher for arm exercises than leg because a greater level of sympathetic drive to heart during arm exercise. Capillary beds are vasoconstricted to a higher level during upper body exercise and vasodilated during lower body exercise. I'm not entirely sure why exactly that is. It has to be something probably due to the fact that the leg muscles are larger and the upper body muscles are smaller relatively. If we're thinking about biceps and shoulders, and also closer to your heart. Vasoconstricted. Oh, capillary beds are vasoconstricted to a higher level during upper body exercise. Probably because it's easier to get blood there. That makes sense. Heart rate and blood pressure are higher. So yeah, if they're constricted a little bit more, you kind of work at the same work rate, then it's probably just to limit the amount of blood that's getting there so it isn't too much, maybe. It's probably why it's a lot easier to get. Yeah. Intermittent exercise, prolonged exercise. Yeah, so I think that about covers what I want to talk about for this one. I mean, we covered in lecture. We basically covered that sort of thing in lecture. So see you in the next one. Bye-bye.